Welcome to Centaur Party. This podcast was made by two kids and their dad. I'm your host, Gabby. And I'm also your host, Evie.
And I'm Grant. Hello. We are going to start our first session.
Yay!
We're going to start our first session on the island of Chiron. And we have our three characters. Grant, that's me. I'm the Dungeon Master. I will be controlling an NPC named Chiron. He's a middle-aged satyr and kind of a spiritual leader in the community of the Fae that live out on the floating island of Chiron. It's an island floating in the sky. He is accompanied by two centaurs. We have a centaur named June. June, why don't you introduce yourself?
Hello, my name is June. My alignment is chaotic neutral. I like to keep my hair in one braid and one braid in my tail, and they're both tied off by thornless roses. They're magical, that's why they don't have roses. I mean, thorns. Gah!
Interesting. That sounds like quite an adornment for a lovely centaur of the wild. And you have your cousin, Lama. Lama, can you introduce yourself to us folks at home?
Hi. My character's name is Lama Steny Smoka, a non-binary centaur with alignment of neutral and has a lyre when Mama keeps them hair short, Llama, and tail.
So the tail is trimmed short too?
Yeah.
Okay.
And has a leather armor plus a shield, but she usually doesn't wear them unless they're needed.
Okay, yeah. So, we all seem to have proficiency in these instruments that you would see on the side of a Greek amphora vase here. So, it's going to be a good time here. We are using the Mythic Odysseys of Theros book to guide some of our adventure here. However, we are on the island of Chiron, which we incorporated from our other campaign. So Chiron comes to the young centaurs and says, I believe it is time for us to go into the wild woods and to find some animal companions to guide us and join us on our adventures.
June's eyes light up. Animal companions? Do you want to take a ride on my back on the way there? Sure, I'll find some animal companions. Just let me put my shield on.
Are you offering me as a ride, as a centaur, to ride on your back?
No.
Mount?
You can use me as your steed, except I hate to be mistaken as a horse.
Okay, well, I want to respect your boundaries, so I will go ahead and walk next to you. We probably won't want to be galloping around because we'll need to be stealthily finding our animal friends. And so here's just a Dungeon Master above the table comment. Is we are using some of the play-tested material from Stibbles Codex of Companions from Eldermancy. We backed them several months ago on Kickstarter, and I contacted them, and they were very lovely about letting us use some of this in our podcast because our players were super excited to meet some of these characters. So without further ado, let's get back into our in-game voices here. And I'm going to have everyone roll. If you are proficient in nature or survival, you choose which is going to be the better one. You choose a nature or survival check, whichever one is going to be higher. And we're all going to roll that, and we'll see kind of if 2/3 of us do well, then that'll decide what kind of animals we can find. Roll that d20, and you have nature, right?
I'm actually doing survival because it's +2.
Roll your survival.
17 + 2, 19.
19. Oh my goodness. That will allow you to find rare, uncommon, common, very common animals in the little bestiary that we have here. All right. Llama, what have you rolled?
13 + 5.
13 + 5. Very nice.
18.
So we have an 18. So also in that rare category there. Okay.
Yes.
Let's see how Chiron does. He has a +4 in the survival. He rolls a 12, which puts him up to 16. He didn't do as well as our centaurs. So fortunately, 2/3 of us were able to roll an 18 or higher. Mm-hmm. Did I get that correct? 18 or higher?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it allows us to find rare animals. Okay. So Chiron says, well, let's see. Where would you like to be looking for some animal friends?
I'm in the forest.
We can look several places. What kind of animals that you've seen running about are you interested in looking for?
Wolpertingers.
Wolpertingers. All right. Chiron leads you to a forest. It's near the edge of the island, right? So, yeah, if you're not careful, there's these sheer cliffs that if you go off the edge,
Instant death.
you get instant death because you will fall thousands of miles into the ocean below because we are, as we've said, on a floating island.
And if any of us could swim, we would probably be killed by the big splash landing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'd have to, I mean, this is kind of an ancient Greece situation. We might be able to find a Pegasus to come find us real quickly, but okay. All right. So first of all, we enter the forest. You notice tall, stately pines, and as you look a little closer, in some of the older ones, there's evidence of pixies living in there. You can see little doors in the bottom of the trees, and there are little stair steps made out of stones leading up to it. Okay, and you can see little glimpses of pixies flying about in the air.
I say hello in, how do you pronounce the language that?
Sylvian.
In Sylvian, since they only speak Sylvan.
For those of you listening at home, I have now a picture of some footprints that were seen in the moss and the mud along the bases of the trees.
Wolpertinger prints!
Yes, these prints seem to be everywhere. The rain has just recently ended, so there is plenty of mud for these little fellows to be playing in and running around in.
Yes, my hoof prints are, well, I'd say I wear horseshoes because...
You don't need horseshoes.
Oh, never mind. I mean, mine are more of a heart shape. Like, so they're kind of indistinct to most horses, and they're much bigger.
Also, llama is a blonde hair, but brown fur.
You mean horse fur? Anyway, so do we see anything else besides a bunch of furry footprints?
And pixies that are glittering in the sunlight. Glitter!
All right. You can see that, yeah, there's Wolpertingers living in the area.
I start to follow some of those tracks.
Same. Like, creep, 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 creep.
Okay. Chiron stops. Look, here at the base of the tree, there are 2 large Wolpertingers, and it looks like a small cluster of baby Wolpertingers. The two big ones have their antlers fully grown, and the two little ones, they don't even have their eyes. There's maybe 4 little ones. They don't have their eyes open. There are no antlers. They're just squeaky. Just little tiny. They basically look like little rabbits.
Oh, they're so cute.
Okay, let me pull up their stat block here. So yes, the reason why the Wolpertingers are found in this area of the island, Chiron explains to you, is because they are often sought out by hunters. So they've been driven away from the outskirts of Stratos because they've all been kind of overhunted in that area and captured. The tourist trades of Stratos. The rich folks love to ride their airships to the city, gamble in the gambling halls, and take home pet Wolpertingers, which actually do not do very well in captivity. They don't mate in captivity.
Oh,
yeah.
I bet their antlers go smash right there.
Yeah, and their teeth get all rotten. So, and they're incredibly difficult to tame. They are so cute, but they're difficult for humans to tame.
Because they have history of being overhunted, so humans get a bad reputation at humans too. Sheesh.
All right. So let's begin by trying to tame some of these. You look off to the edge, and there's another couple of Wolpertingers that are not a family unit. There's just,
Random
2 or 3.
ones.
So, did anybody bring any rations with them?
I have an explorer's pack, so that has rations. So I walk over to those random ones, and I'm like, I call over to how can I tell apart these 3 ones?
There's one that seems to have gray and brown stripes on their haunches, and there's one that has some more kind of like speckly fur that seems to take a liking to llama. Kind of.
I go and I get some rations from my explorer bag. Who wants some food?
And then the third one?
I need there were 4 adult ones that you saw. 2 were the babies.
Oh.
Yeah. All right, everyone roll an animal handling check.
I have a +2.
You didn't fill that in, even though I'm a cleric.
I'm pretty sure that's gonna be +3. Because it's your wisdom modifier.
Oh,
yeah. All right, everybody roll.
Okay. Okay. Ooh.
1, 14 +2, 16 to the Wolpertinger taming.
Yeah, you're getting a little close to the mic. All right, so yeah, they come a little closer and they start to sniff around, and they take a little bites of some of the food. And once they take to eating little bits, they get really excited and they just dig in whole hog.
Whoa! Whoa!
Chiron says, well, why don't if you put your hand gently forward and put it near their nose, they might look up and smell. And once it's kind of smelled you for a few minutes, you'll be able to reach down and pet them and roll another animal handling check.
I slowly lower my hand down to the striped one's nose.
And I slowly do the sparkly one.
You mean,
Speckled?
Yeah.
Speckled. Okay. Roll another animal handling check.
15 +2, 17.
11.
11. Okay. Well, I would say, the one that is the stripy one gets just close enough and kind of rubs its head against your hand. The one that was coming towards Llama seems a little hesitant. Chiron says,
roll again?
Chiron says, let me help you. So roll with advantage this time.
Ooh, yay.
I think this one likes me. Says June.
21.
And I start like petting it slowly. Who's a good Wolfertinger? Who's a good Wolfertinger? I'm going to name you. What would be a good Wolfertinger name?
Yeah.
Puddles?
Okay, so the speckled Wolpertinger comes back a second time. It helps that you had a few jelly beans that you gave it.
Jelly beans.
Chiron slipped them to you, and it eats a little bit closer, gets closer, and allows you to pet its head. And you're able to lead the Wolpertingers back to your living areas.
I kind of like pick it up and then like hold on tight, little Wolfer.
Can these things fly?
Oh yeah, they have wings.
Oh right. I'm going to name you Tuffy. I say, rubbing its head. I'm guessing it like purrs too.
Because they're cat kind of things.
So what kind of games would we play with a pet like this?
And I say to the speckled one, I'm going to call you Jelly Bean.
Jelly Bean and
Tuffy.
Jelly Bean and Tuffy. Chiron suggests maybe finding some twine or vines to dangle at them to maybe they'll want to play with it, kind of kitty cat style.
Maybe we should introduce it to the plants where we're living right now. I mean, what time is it like right now in the Centaur world?
It was we ventured out at dusk, so it's starting to get to be nighttime.
Maybe we should show it where I'm going to find some leather for it to sleep on, and then I'm going to sleep too.
I'm just going to do my light cantrip and kind of play with it a little before I go to bed. As I say, snapping a little bit of vines off and like dangling it above its face. It's like, and I'd say it wants to play.
So do you think I could like find some leather for it to sleep on?
Of course. We might just have like I don't know if we have leather. You probably have like a nice bed of pine needles. It's nice and soft.
Here, I come back like a few minutes later. Here's some pine cone. These fresh bed of. So like I walk back to like what is like my own part, because like each part of the family like has their own part in there. So I'm like I'm back, and I come back with like an arms full of pine needles. I set it down like right next to where I was going to sleep.
Very nice.
Like the Wolfertinger like slowly Tuffy slowly goes to sleep, and then I like lay down and then sleep and put my head on the pine needles and go to sleep and have loud snoring that shakes the island, that makes it feel like that shakes the island.
It feels like it.
It drowns out the soft purring of the Wolpertinker as it cuddles up to your haunches and warms up.
Meanwhile, Llama does the cantrip light. Then she's a light domain cleric, and it's like, come on, Jelly Bean, it's time to go to bed, and kind of like caring.
Yeah. Jelly Bean's eyes are starting to blink slowly. It's staring out and blinking slowly. So it begins to purr as it cuddles. You've got it just nestled up against your chest, and it's purring and seeking out a warm spot in your armpit.
No, that's really true that your armpits are.
Yeah.
Well, aren't they all? Don't they also have? Oh, right. They both have antlers, so
Yeah.
they're adults.
The sun has set, and it is getting cooler. I jumped I jumped the gun earlier when I wanted to talk about bond strength, but the bond strength table states that you have a beginning bonding strength of 6. Let me see for sure. Starting bonding points 6, and so that means you have 2 little characteristics that you will be able to have with your creature. So it says that bond strength 4, you have a characteristic called On the Lookout, which says that while within 5 feet of your companion, you can replace your wisdom modifier with theirs when making perception checks.
Ooh.
See what their wisdom modifier is.
They have keen smell.
Yeah, so if we need to smell things, they have a +2 wisdom. So
That wouldn't really apply
But
for me.
it would give you advantage with keen smell. You could go,
yep, keen senses advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on hearing or sight.
Eventually, since horses can sleep standing up, she eventually falls asleep with the wolf finger in her arm.
Yeah. Oh, there's one more trait that we get at level 6. You get sharing is caring. Every 1d6 days, your companion can find food and fresh water for themselves and one other creature, provided that the land offers berries, small game, water, and so forth. Let's go ahead and roll that d6 and find out how many days it takes. Every 2 days, these Wolpertinkers can go and forage and find berries and things to bring back to us. What wonderful friends we've made.
what about Chiron? Can you tell his sleep story?
Chiron?
Yeah,
Oh.
Chiron.
Oh. Chiron sits down at the base of a tree and leans back and starts to snore gently near the gathering of where the centaurs live. And all is calm and quiet in the land of the Fae.
This podcast was written by Gabby, Evie, and Grant Thomas. It was engineered and produced by our dad. We all helped edit and assemble the clips. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an update. Tell a friend about our podcast.
Leave us a 5-star rating or a review. This helps more people find out about our podcast. You can tweet at the show at Centaur Party Pod.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Hope you've had a good time.
Tune in next week for another episode of
Centaur Party.